Okay.
The dawn of a new generation is here, a new civilization. It all began in the mountains and valleys of our plains, where the first of our kind was born by Mother Nature, the cradle of humankind. Ever since then, our species have thrived. We've learned how to speak, write, fly, and create new worlds. Our journey of civilization has taken us to many lands, beyond waters and far into the depth of space. Today, the force of evolution has taken us to the new path. Are we ready to take this leap? To go on this journey, we must return to our origins. As we enter a new epoch for our species, we must understand that the origin of mankind is literally its future. We are leading humanity to this next phase. This is an invitation to begin the journey of the next level of our technological progress, from where our civilization began. Introducing GEN4IR, accelerating our singularity future for development in Africa.
TEF's Global Summit for 2022 will be held at the beautiful Sun City Resort in the Northwest Province of South Africa. It brings together delegates and speakers from various parts of the world who will come and share their experience and expertise and help to come up with collaborative solutions between academia, private and public institutions.
Now, at this summit, first, you will learn about the exponential technologies in communications and information, robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotech, and much more that are going to allow entrepreneurs and reformers in Africa to transform their economies, their institutions, and their whole societies. Second, you are going to be able to meet and talk with those reformers, the intellectuals, and the entrepreneurs who are going to create this transformation. And third, you can be part of the transformation yourself at this conference. You will be engaged. You will see what the future of Africa can be and should be if we unleash the creative intelligence and power of South Africans and people in all African countries.
We have to move along with the moving times. And if you're really concerned about the future of humanity and what we can do in order to change it or make it better for ourselves and for the coming generation, you have to be there. I'll be there 23rd and 24th of March 2022, Sun City, South Africa.
I'm glad that no matter what, we can organize this special event in Sun City, and hope to see you soon, guys. Please check our website, our social media. We are working for you day by day to get together the prominent names all around the world, from biotech, longevity industry, eVTOL, flying car market, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence as well.
Futurists, transhumanists, singularitarians, longevity scientists, industry pioneers will converge to produce ideas that will inspire projects that will drive the fourth industrial revolution. TAVS is a gateway in and out of Africa. We have been connecting governments, companies, organizations, policymakers and entrepreneurs to come together to think, create and build the future of our species. This summit is a futurecast. It features everything from education, blockchain solutions, smart cities, medicine, life extension, amongst many others. Become part of the minds that will fashion the next generation of the fourth industrial revolution. It begins here. Welcome to Sun City.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our Future Discussions TV. Today, our guest will be live at the summit. that is coming up in South Africa next month. And as you already know, this series of interviews that I'm having at this period is meant to showcase, to give you some kind of an insight into what we are going to be expecting at the summit itself that is coming up next month. And so it's with great pleasure that I'd like to welcome David Wood. Uh, he will be giving us a glimpse of what we should be expecting from his presentation in South Africa next month. So just a quick detail about David Wood. He's a futurist, catalyst, an author, and a singularitarian. And he's chair of London Futurists. And he's currently leading a very important project. That's the Vital Syllabus Project, which focuses on helping people, students, and incorporating into the syllabus, into the education system, uh, core knowledge and information that has to do with the importance and the most important skills that we need going into the future, that emerging technologies and revolutionary tech that we have in place are bringing to us, and to understand and embody the associated principles that are important going forward. So it's with great pleasure that I'd like to welcome you, David Wood, to this Future Discussions podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my real pleasure to be here. That was a really impressive video introduction about what looks like a really special conference taking place on the 23rd and 24th of March.
Exactly. It is indeed a very special summit that is coming on board. And just before we get started, before I get into your presentation and what you have for us, it's very important that we understand that what TAUS is building, it's actually, we're building a gateway in and out of Africa, and we are actually calling on pioneers, industry policymakers, and futurists, transhumanists, and people who have a foresight understanding, like who have that foresight analysis of what the future holds and how we can create a better future for our humanity. Because it's thought that progress happens automatically, like it happens without intentionality. But the real thing is that it is futurists and people who have a clear vision of where we are going and how to get there. They are the people that will actually make our future more intentional. And we don't have a lot of people who think in this direction. So that is why we are very glad, to have you on board, coming here and on giving us your extraordinary insight as to how to go about this. So a quick insight into what you're going to be presenting at the conference.
Well, I'm really glad you said that the progress does not happen automatically. Sometimes we like to feel good. Sometimes we like to be optimistic. And it is good to be optimistic, but sometimes we are over optimistic. Sometimes we think, well, it's bound to be the case that the technology is going to come and deliver an abundance for everybody. But sadly, the history of technological revolutions shows that many bad things often happen from new industrial revolutions. This conference is about the fourth industrial revolution, 4IR, which is different in many ways from anything that's happened before. But we can still learn from what happened in previous smaller scale industrial revolutions. And in each case, there was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of disruption. There was a lot of injustice, a great deal of alienation, a great deal of damage was caused to social structures, to the environment, and is still being caused. And we are not going to get to that truly better world of sustainable superabundance unless we look ahead. Look ahead at the opportunities that we might miss if we are being a bit too single-minded, short-sighted. And also we might miss the real threats, again, if we are in an over-optimistic gung-ho spirit. So I think at this conference, there's going to be many people who are futurists of one sort or another, either people who call themselves futurists, such as myself, or others who might call themselves entrepreneurs or academics or researchers, but in their own way, they are futurists too, because they are all going to be drawing attention to some of the opportunities and risks that if we're not careful, we might miss. And it might result in us not achieving the good future that is truly within our grasp. So I'm going to be covering, my topic is the fourth industrial revolution, and the case for active transhumanism. Active is very important. It means getting things done. It means steering the future of technology. It means sharing knowledge proactively, but it also means alerting people to these risks and opportunities. And the transhumanism word is maybe strange for some people, but transhumanism is about a vision that actually we humans can transcend a lot of the historical limitations that we have inherited from evolution, from our traditional societies, from our traditional philosophies. And some of the drawbacks were sort of okay in past times, but now it's increasingly clear that we can and should go beyond these limitations. So transhumanism sometimes talks about a 5S super vision of the future. The first S is for super longevity. The second is for super intelligence. The third is for super happiness. The fourth is for super democracy. And the fifth is for super abundance. And in each case, they will allow us humans to transcend limitations in our physical bodies, in our minds, in our social structures, in our relations with nature. And that is a very positive vision, but we're not going to get there on cruise control. We're only going to get there if we can tap into the best insights of multiple people from diverse backgrounds with different skills. And that's the kind of synthesis, that's the kind of interactions that I'm expecting to take place uniquely at this conference next month. You may be muted. I'm not hearing you.
All right. Okay. Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah. So interesting. It's important that you talked about that you broke down the concept of transhumanism and the vital role it plays in our life as human beings going into the future that's emerging and these convergent technologies that are bringing to us. Like we touched upon in the beginning, that progress is not automatic; it's actually intentional. And what it appears, what it seems to us, what it appears is that the project of transhumanism and futurists is that of an intentional project towards creating the kind of future that we all want. And a practical example is what you're doing, with the Vital Syllabus project, because I had to go through that. And it's very reassuring and also hopeful that we have uh, the kind of futurists like you who are actual who are actually what I would call practical futurists, because I define futurists as not just people who tell us about theories about what the future would look like or who paints the picture of what the future will look like, but actually someone who has a vision of the future and a strategy of how to get us there. And hopefully that future is something that we would like to have for our children and every other person. So, uh, uh, in respect to what we are doing next month in South Africa, which is more of a gathering of people who have this strategy, the right strategy of where we want to end up in the future and how that future is going to pan out. And then you're talking about active transhumanism, so which is a more practical approach, towards all these concepts, theories, and the ontology of these concepts of transhumanism, making it even more practical. So we are talking about active transhumanism, and then we're talking about making that case for the fourth industrial revolution. How do you think that Africans, as you're bringing this message out, how do you think, what is the best disposition do you think, what kind of disposition do you think will help to drive forward this message and turn them into more practical projects that can start off immediately? A practical example is the Vital Syllabus project that you're doing, because I believe that any progress that has to have roots, that's going to have a meaningful root in the society, starts from the educational system. So, what kind of disposition do you think we need going into these events, and then how we can actually use it to achieve the concrete results that we want out of this?
If we look at the different industrial revolutions, the first was quite local to start off with. That's with the steam engines and then the trains, which started in the north of England and spread out through Europe. The second industrial revolution with electricity, with steel, with plastics and so on, and certainly involved North America as well as Europe. The third industrial revolution with computers, with software, with wireless networks is much more of a worldwide affair with Asia, but it's only this fourth industrial revolution which is truly potentially on the global level. And at the global level, I'm not just talking about people being affected by the technologies globally, I'm talking about people contributing in a very real way to the steering, the harnessing, and the creativity in these new technologies. Because we're going to need all the ingenuity, all the innovation, all the brain power that we can muster. The challenges ahead are actually very significant. Challenges such as climate change, challenges such as bioterrorist weapons, challenges such as a growing inequality on the planet, challenges such as the risks of a new Cold War becoming a hot war, other challenges to do with cyber hacking. These are hard challenges, and it's going to require lots of brilliant and hardworking and insightful and creative people to participate. And I have no doubt that there are people in every corner of Africa who have the ability to contribute to this. But to get on board, you need a certain level of previous knowledge. And that's where this vital syllabus project comes in, which I'm just showing on the screen now. It is, as you said, an attempt to improve on what happens in most normal education. Most normal education was rooted in the past, when things were relatively stable, when moral systems were accepted from the past without the kind of questioning that often takes place now, when there wasn't so much diversity. But in many ways, we need a different sort of skills and principles today. And that's what this vital syllabus project is gathering. And by the way, if people go to londonfuturist.com on the education tab, you will find out more about that project. And it is broken down into 24 areas of the most important things people need to learn. And starts off with, surprisingly perhaps, learning how to learn. Because whatever we have learned in the past, we're going to have to be able to unlearn parts of it quite quickly and relearn. And unless we are able to pick up new skills quickly, we may be left behind. Don't worry, I'm not going to run through all 24 of these areas just now, but I might mention one or two. Agility means coping with uncertainty. It means breaking down uncertainty into smaller, manageable projects, finding out key information quickly. I might mention augmentation, which is how we can each use technology and tools to make ourselves smarter and more capable. Collaboration means that whatever we're trying to do, we will actually likely do it better if we have more skills in collaborating. Then if I look down that page, you can see technologies, NBIC. This is the fourth industrial revolution: nanotech, biotech, infotech, and cognitech. And still, it is my sad observation that too few people understand the true implications of these four revolutions. So that has to be strongly in the syllabus. And then I'll just mention philosophy and values and transhumanism. That means thinking about what do we truly want to value and achieve, and it sets us aside from some of our previous thinking, which was suited to earlier times when things were more stable and things were less questioned. But we need to move to, in some sense, a higher level of thinking. And that's some of what's in this project today, the Vital Syllabus project. And very importantly, all of this information has got to be free. I'm interested in people pointing out things that can be added to the syllabus in terms of resources, good videos, good online resources, but it has to be completely free of charge because there should not be a barrier of access. So that anybody who has got at least an internet connection can benefit from this information. The material there also needs to be clear and engaging. It should not be difficult to understand it. It should also be authoritative, something that people can rely on. If you go to that vital syllabus page today, you'll find there's still quite a lot of blank pages. There's some basic structure. We have about 20 videos there already, but over the next 3 years probably, I expect this to grow to about 1,000 videos suitable for people at different levels of education, very young people, older people, people who have got scientific training, people who don't have a scientific training. It's got to be there so that we can all quickly move to a level where we can contribute to this incredible opportunities of sustainable superabundance.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting. Thank you so much. It's very interesting that the focus is on education because that's really where TAF starts. Our work at TAF starts. It starts really basic on the educational level. We're targeting both young students and also older people. Uh, but what I find even more interesting is what you touch when you touch upon on learning how to learn and philosophy and the principles of thinking. And because on a personal level, these are areas that I'm very much passionate about. And my first book is on exercise and clear thinking, and then the second book is on infinite learning, which is the art of learning how to. And I believe that for us to get to the time, for us to be able to meet the age of artificial general intelligence, we need to be able to upgrade our intelligence to be able to handle the level of technology and resources and what is going to happen at that time. Because if you're unable to harness our intelligence, then we are potentially getting to a stage whereby we'll have a species or a being that has a higher information processing system, and then that could potentially have different goals. And if it has a different goal and has the ability to process information better than we do, that better than we can do, process information, then we are heading to a level of species extinction. We might be replaced at the top of a food chain by a different technology or something like that, and that really scares me. So that is why my first two books were focused on that, infinite learning and exercise thinking, because I believe if we can learn how to learn faster, learn how to learn, and then learn how to think, then potentially there's no barrier to what we are going to be able to achieve, and then there wouldn't be any threat to our species as we know it. So as I was going through these, what's in the syllabus and what you're focused on, I thought to myself, this is exactly what we need going into the future, because a future where human beings cannot think clearly and cannot learn how to learn quickly, pick up new skills, and then reject off old ideas and build up new ones. It's a very scary future with the kind of technologies that we have. You talk about the exponential technologies and the scale and reach of these kind of technologies like biotechnology and nanotechnologies. You can potentially change the way we understand life. And what can we do if someone that cannot manage his social media has a handle on a technology that can transform his nature? It's going to be potentially dangerous thing. So I cannot wait to see like the full presentation and how this will really be rolled out. It's going to be it's life saving, I think.
Well, the need for clear thinking is already here. We already have systems that in some sense are more intelligent than us individual humans, systems that already have goals that aren't completely aligned with ours. I'm not talking about AIs yet, I'm talking about large corporations. Large corporations draw on the knowledge and skills and talents of multiple people, and they use these skills and talents to serve their own goals, which is usually to boost profits and revenues and shareholder prices. And that is usually quite well aligned with general well-being, because companies on the whole can only make money if they are serving the consumers, but it doesn't always work like that. And sometimes we get monopoly situations, sometimes we get destructive competition, sometimes we get large corporations that ignore the externalities of their products. So a customer might be happy and the company might be happy, but we're damaging the environment or damaging third parties. And we have to think very clearly about that. To what extent do we want to steer and control these large corporations? This is a hard problem. And you're entirely right that we need to sharpen our thinking about this. If we don't understand what's going on, we will be misled by social media. As you said, my second area of the syllabus after learning how to learn, as you noticed, was communications, which is how do we share our knowledge, but also how do we cope in a rich environment of information of different types, which is often mistaken information. Sometimes it's deliberately distorting information because there are, for various reasons, fake news of various sorts around, which is intended to make us buy things we probably shouldn't buy, to make us vote for politicians we probably shouldn't vote for, and so on. So we do need that clear thinking. And if we don't sort it out today, it's going to be even worse when there is more powerful AI that can be harnessed by militaries, by regimes, and by corporations of the future, which will put things out of our reach if we are not careful.
Yeah, very, very important. Thank you so much, David Wood, for coming and giving us a glimpse into the very important and very urgent information that I think we need going into the kind of future that our tools are actually presenting to us. So it's with great pleasure that I'd like to thank you for gracing this show. And guys, you don't want to miss this. It's very important. It's very instructive and urgent for you to have to register for this event and then come on board and see and have and witness what David will be presenting at the summit. It's very important because the kind of future that we have that is coming, that we are about to witness, it can be frightening or interesting or interesting or amazing, depending on how you look at it and depending on how ready you are, depending on how empowered you are going into it. So coming to this kind of event, this kind of program, actually, I think gives you the empowerment that you need to get a handle on the future, to determine how you can create your own future. And this is what I think we're starting with Africa, because the origin of humanity, as we say, is literally its future. And well, it's not going to be its future if we are not prepared for it. So that's preparation. That's what the likes of David is really bringing to us. And you need to come on board and see how these it's going to work out for you and for many others. So thank you so much, David, for gracing the show, and we look forward to seeing your full presentation in South Africa next month.
I'm looking forward to it too. Thanks for such great questions, and thanks for being a leader in clear thinking from Africa, but also on the global stage.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll look forward to seeing you, and guys, we'll be having more of these interviews with more of the speakers and the presenters. So stay tuned and look out for whenever we send out the message for the next interviews that we're going to have having. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you guys there next month.
The dawn of a new generation, a new civilization. It all began in the mountains and valleys of our plains. The first of our kind was birthed by Mother Nature.
Yeah.
The cradle of humanity.
Can you hear me, David?
Ever since then, our species have thrived. We've learned how to speak, fly, and create new birds. Our journey
thank you so much.
Of civilization has taken us to many lands beyond waters.
I can hear you. I'm a bit reluctant to talk in case it's being broadcast.
The force of evolution has taken us to
okay, no, it's not being broadcast.
To go on this journey, we must return to our origins. As we enter a new epoch for our species, we must understand that the origin of mankind is literally its future. We are leading humanity to this next phase. This is an invitation to begin the journey of the next level of our technological progress. from where our civilization began. Introducing GEN4IR, accelerating our singularity future for developments in Africa.
TAF's Global Summit for 2022 will be held at the beautiful Sun City Resort in the Northwest Province of South Africa. It brings together delegates and speakers from various parts of the world who will come and share their experience and expertise and help to come up with collaborative solutions between academia, private and public institutions.
Now, at this summit, first, you will learn about the exponential technologies in communications and information, robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotech, and much more that are going to allow entrepreneurs and reformers in Africa to transform their economies, their institutions, and their whole societies. Second, you are going to be able to meet and talk with those reformers, the intellectuals, and the entrepreneurs who are going to create this transformation. And third, you can be part of the transformation yourself at this conference. You will be engaged. You will see what the future of Africa can be and should be if we unleash the creative intelligence and power of South Africans and people in all African countries.
We have to move along with the moving times. And if you're really concerned about the future of humanity and what we can do in order to change it or make it better for ourselves and for the coming generation, you have to be there. I'll be there 23rd and 24th of March 2022, Sun City, South Africa.
I'm glad that no matter what, we can organize this special event in Sun City, and hope to see you soon, guys. Please check our website, our social media. We are working for you day by day to get together the prominent names all around the world, from biotech, longevity industry, eVTOL, flying car market, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence as well.
Futurists, transhumanists, singularitarians, longevity scientists, industry pioneers will converge to produce ideas that will inspire projects that will drive the fourth industrial revolution. TAFs is a gateway in and out of Africa. We have been connecting governments, companies, organizations, policymakers and entrepreneurs to come together to think, create and build the future of our species. This summit is a Futurecast. It features everything from education, blockchain solutions, smart cities, medicine, life extension, amongst many others. Become part of the minds that will fashion the next generation of the fourth industrial revolution. It begins here. Welcome to Sun City.